I'm here again. Huwag niyo po masyadong dalasan ng pag-imbita, baka magsawa kayo sa akin. No, it's an honor, it's a joy to be here with you tonight. Another opportunity for me to grow in my ministry. Like Tita Clarita indicated, I I was ordained May 13, 2016. So that's a year and 2 days today. On the feast of Our Lady of Fatima. So this is very beautiful that we are gathered in honor of the centenary of Our Lady's apparition at Fatima. And so we begin this this sharing, this education tonight with prayer to Our Lady of Fatima, and I have with me copies of that prayer. I have limited copies, but we can share.
Mananoli. I-adjust ko na yung timer.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Prayer to Our Lady of Fatima, together.
Dear Father, Queen of the Holy Rosary, who came to Fatima to reveal to all mankind the divine plan for true Christian peace, our prayer and consecration. Grant the abundance of grace, strength, and guidance to the members of that Fatima crusade, here present throughout the world. Inspire us to great zeal, obey the ethics of holy priests, that we may hear the instruments and perpetual thy rosary, that we may be faithful to prayer and sacrament, that we may inspire our brothers in Christ to a life of sacrifice, penitence, and modesty, and finally in the living of the living God, like the Holy Faith, with all men, through consecration to the Immaculate Heart, shall be one in Christ. Amen.
Our Lady of Fatima, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Allow me to begin by saying that I am no scholar of the apparitions at Fatima, and that I would not attempt to give a in-depth dissertation about Mariology. My approach tonight will be more on the emphasis that personally I have felt that Mary has always been with me in my journey, and that I love Mary, and there are many people who prayed for and made possible the journey that I am going through at this point in my ministry as a young priest. So I can say that you, by being here and desiring to grow in your devotion to our Blessed Mother, especially most of you here are mothers tonight, knowing that in our heart, together we will revisit the story of Fatima and relive its messages in our lives today. This is particularly very important as the Pope Francis is granting plenary indulgence for those who would be actively involved in the promotion and devotion of Our Lady of Fatima, especially in this centenary year. That began November 27 last year and will continue until November 26 of this year. And so later on we will be discussing how to avail of these opportunities of plenary indulgence. But right now I'd like to invite you to listen and perhaps reimagine. For those who have visited Fatima already, anybody here? Oh wow! I'm yet to do that, but I am excited to see hands up, so you can relive in your imagination and in your heart the story of the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima. We'd like to say that the story of Fatima really begins in the year 1916, the year before the actual apparition, when 3 children born and raised in homes where catechism was their daily bread, stories from the Bible their recreation, and the word of the village priest was the law, went out into the valley near the village of Fatima in Portugal. That day in 1916 was like any other day, which the children, what are their names? Anybody? Great. Lucia de Jesus Santos, 9 years old. Francisco Marto, 8 years old. And Jacinta Marto, 6 years old. Early in the spring of that year, 1916, rain began to fall and the children hurried up to the side of the hill to the south of the valley into a cave called Cabeco. There they finished playing their games, ate their lunch, and as was the custom all over Portugal at that time, prayed the rosary. But before they finished praying the rosary, they felt a strong wind, and looking about, noticed a strange light far out into the valley. And as they watched, the light came closer and closer to the place where they were kneeling as they were finishing their rosary, until finally it came into the cave. There the light took the form of a young man, and Lucia especially, recounted that that light formed the image of a young man of 15 years old, saying to them, "Fear not, I am the angel of peace. Pray with me." And this angel of peace taught these 3 children to pray, "My God, I believe, I adore, I trust, and I love thee. I beg pardon for those who do not believe, do not adore, do not trust, and do not love thee." And we know this prayer. We recite this prayer every time. And this is the beginning of the story of Fatima, a year before the actual apparitions, when that angel of peace appeared to the 3 children. And in the year that followed, 1917, the Mother of God appeared 6 times to these children on the 13th of each month, May to October, except on which month? Except on which month that she appeared on another day? Anybody remember? August. And you'll later on find out why. But for the next 6 months, from May to October in 1917, our Blessed Mother appeared to these 3 children on the 13th of every month except August, when she appeared the 19th. Let's go through the apparition so you can remember. At any point, especially those who have experienced this, I would imagine it was beautiful. To Fatima, to see the actual apparition site where she appeared, that would be beautiful. There are parishioners from IHM, I'm from Immaculate Heart of Mary, who are privileged enough to be there for the first of the 6 months. And I would imagine maybe some of you would be planning to be there one of these months to celebrate that. And please bring our intentions with you and rest assured of course, our prayers for this amazing blessing. For the first apparition of Our Lady, May 13, 1917, it was a Sunday. And the children were doing what they were normally doing, pasturing their flock as usual at the Cova da Iria, which was about a mile from their homes. They were playing when suddenly a bright light pierced the air. They described this because, of course, of their limited faculty to understand things as flash of lightning. But it was not really lightning, but rather a reflection of a light that approached them little by little. And frightened of that moving light, the children looked around at the sky that was clear and bright without any clouds at all. No breeze, the sun was strong, and there was no hint anywhere of a storm that might be responsible for that flash of lightning. The children, however, thought that it's gonna rain, so they headed home. But then they saw a great light. And in that light, they saw a lady dressed all in white, more brilliant than the sun, shedding rays of light, clear and stronger than a crystal glass filled with the most sparkling water. And the lady spoke to them in the same words as the angel of peace spoke to them a year before. Fear not. Fear not, I will not harm you. And then the children asked her, where are you from? She answered, I am from heaven. Lucia asked, what do you want from me? And then she said, I came to ask you to come here for 6 consecutive months on the 13th day at this same hour. I will tell you later who I am and what I want. And then she opened her hands, and you will always notice this in all the apparitions. Towards the end, she will open her hands and reveal something. And for this first apparition, she opened her hands with a loving gesture of a mother who offers her heart. From it, an intense light departed that seemed to go through them. The vision vanished, and telling them, recite the rosary every day to obtain the peace for the world and the end of war. And then she disappeared. Imagine you're 9, 8, and 6. How do you make sense of what just happened? Now, after months of not seeing any vision, after that encounter with the angel of peace the year before, suddenly a woman appears and telling you these things, asking you to go back for the next 6 months on the 13th day at the same hour, instructing them to pray the rosary for the reparation of sins, for the reparation of sins of poor sinners. Of course, they told their parents, right? And then, on the next month, they return with, it is recounted in the story with about 50 people, just making sure that these kids will be safe. So on June 13, 1917, accompanied by about 50 people, the children reciting the rosary, a lady appeared just like the last month. And Lucia asked her again, what do you want from me? Again, the same message. I want you to come here for the next consecutive months on the 13th and pray the rosary every day. And in the succeeding months, I will tell you what else I want. Lucia, in his childlike disposition, as a child of course, said, I would like to ask you to bring us to heaven. I would like to ask you to bring us to heaven. And then, what did the lady said? Yes, Jacinta and Francisco will be among the few, but you must stay here for a long time. Anybody remembered what happened to Jacinta and Francisco years after? They got sick and they died. How about Lucia? She lived on and died what year? 2005. So that would be many years. I don't know how old she passed, but this is precisely the message of Our Lady to them on that second apparition. Yes, Jacinta and Francisco will see heaven soon, but she would have to stay longer. Also on that same apparition, the second apparition, the lady assured the children that the Immaculate Heart of Mary will be their refuge, and through it will conduct you to God. And again, before she departed, opened her hands and revealed the Immaculate Heart. Opened her hands and revealed the Immaculate Heart. And so you would see images of the Fatima with the heart pierced, with the heart surrounded by thorns. They understood this, that it was the Immaculate Heart of Mary affronted from the sins of men and asking for reparations of sin. And so this is what's happening already as we progress. Apparition 1, the message was pray the rosary for the reparations of sin. And then secondly, they were talking, on the second apparition, they were talking about heaven and Mary revealing her Immaculate Heart. On the third apparition, anybody remembers? What was the message aside from, again, praying the rosary? The message of the third apparition was about the conversion of Russia. Conversion of Russia. And this is funny, during the Mass recently held in IHM for our celebration of Immaculate Heart of Mary, my good friend Father Luis in his preaching said that he read somewhere that because these are children and Mary was telling them about conversion of Russia, these children thought that Russia is a woman. Because who would know what Russia or where Russia is? You're 9, you're 8, you're 6. So in their haste, we need to convert Russia. That was their message to those who were with them that day. Little do they know that there is an impending, greater problem, greater war affronting this message. But yes, that the message, the central message of the third apparition was the conversion of Russia. Seeing and then spreading her hands, what image was revealed? Anybody remembers spreading her hands? What image was revealed? As she spoke these words, the lady stretched out her hands, and bright rays came forth, which seemed to penetrate the earth. All at once, the grounds vanished, and the children saw hell. The vision of hell. So for the third apparitions, conversion of Russia and the vision of hell, where the souls of poor sinners go. And this is the message: to save future souls, God wishes to establish in the world devotion to the Immaculate Heart. Devotion to the Immaculate Heart. If people do what I tell you, many souls will be saved. The blue cards I brought with me in Immaculate Heart of Mary. We have the tradition of welcoming new parishioners by giving them this stampita or welcome card with a daily offering to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And this is the same prayer that we hope to pray every day to save souls, future souls. that will go to, so we distribute this, Tita, maybe by table.